Solutions liquid. Will clean up any fuel on any surface. I'm using home heating oil here. Everybody be familiar with that. But it cleans any fuel, any surface. All right, so this I would consider a pooling oil situation. So it just happened, it's in a basement, you had an overfill, something like that. That's the only time you're going to use the Oil Solutions powder. And the big takeaway from this product is you have to apply it until you have white virgin powder on top. Biggest mistake people make, it happens every single day. People, like, you have a spill and you just kind of go like this and you kind of stop, and that's not good enough. You want to put it on until you have white virgin powder on top, and the reason for that is that means the product went all the way through the oil and then stopped working, and you got it all. So really important, you apply it until you have white virgin powder on top. Another cool feature is you can't waste it. So if I keep dumping and dumping here, it's just sitting here, and I could actually sweep all that off and throw it back in the bag. So you can't waste it. So you're kind of like overusing it in the beginning, but then you wait about 5 minutes, and you could sweep off everything that you didn't use. You get all that powder back, and there's all your oil. And even if I was outside and it was raining, there'd be no rainbow, no sheen, nothing coming off this. It works very fast, and it turns the oil into a dried, non-toxic rubber. Let's say you're in a basement. It could be a 1 gallon, could be 40 to 100 gallons. Throw this down, leave it for about 5 minutes. Come in with a scraper or a broom, scrape it up, and within a couple of minutes, you get dry, non-toxic rubber. Right, real easy. If it's small amounts like that, you just throw it in the garbage. If you have large amounts, like let's say you had a couple of 100 gallons, that you may want to bring it back to your shop and dispose of it the way you would if you had any kind of a large spill. If you had something large. Somebody else is trying to get in here. Okay, somebody else jumped in. Whoever that is, hello. Now this the again really important. The Oil Solutions powder is only for new spills, pooling oil. Really specific with that. Like we're in someone's basement or outside, and it's up to our ankles. That's the only time you're going to use the powder. If it's just on the ground like this here, like the stain that's left in my table here, if it's on the ground or soaked into the ground, nope, not using the powder anymore. Now we're going to jump over to the Oil Solutions liquid. It's called step 1, step 2. I'm not even looking which is which. You could put the 1 on and then the 2 on. You could put the 2 on and the 1 on. The way I like to do it is I like to do it at the same time, because it works best if you do equal portions. If you don't do equal portions, what'll happen is, instead of it being, see how it turns to can everybody see that it turns to like a gel right away, right? If it turns to a gel right away, you nailed it, you did it perfect. If it's kind of milky and watery, that means you're using unequal portions. It'll still work, but it's going to be a little sloppier. It's going to take a little more time to dry, and it'll still work, but it's just not a great application. So you want to try to use equal portions. Big takeaway from the liquid is you don't clean it up. You just leave it. You let it do its thing. If I clean it up right now, I'll have minor success, but you're still going to smell some of the oil, and it didn't really have time to fully work. It's going to take a few hours to really fully work, or the best instruction is just leave it for 24 hours, leave it overnight, come back the next day. That'll allow it to lift all the oil out of the floor. This will dry into a dry sand, and then you can come back and just sweep it up. I find if it's minor stuff, the homeowner is usually more than willing to go down in the basement and sweep it up. It's usually not a big deal. Especially the best part is the Oil Solutions liquid removes oil odor immediately. So the powder's for pooling oil. The liquid is going to be for oil that's soaked into the ground. It's going to be for your stain, your sheen, any residue that's left. I get calls every day from homeowners saying an oil company spilled some oil here about a week ago, a month ago, and I don't want to clean the oil up. There's no oil. I just want to get rid of the odor, which is kind of funny because there's still oil there. So for that, again, you would use the Oil Solutions liquid, wash the area down with the step 1, step 2, equal portions. Just leave it for 24 hours, and your problem solved. If it's really bad, or if you use the liquid and then the next day or next week you still smell a little bit of oil, that means very simply that you probably didn't use enough or you missed a spot. And that happens all the time, especially in basements where people, you spill in a basement, you have furniture down there, you have tiles, you have carpet, you have all these things in a basement. And unless you get to the spill, you're still going to have a problem. Most common would be oil spills on the floor, it gets under the sheetrock, and there's oil hiding under the sheetrock, maybe under the studs, under the sheetrock. And unfortunately, in cases like that, you probably have to cut the sheetrock and possibly remove some of the studs to get to the problem. If you don't, you're pretty much always going to smell oil. So getting to the problem is key. I put some oil in the water here. I'm gonna grab all my good powder and save it. Dump all that in there. There's all my oil, and I could just wring this out, and that's what you're walking away with. Just turns into a nice rubber ball and throw it right in the garbage. All my leftover powder here, I could take it and save it, and you can get it all. You can see my water's crystal clear, and it gets 100%. This product doesn't work halfway or 80%. This is 100%. So, one key thing is if you do have it on your truck, if you have it ready to go, it's going to be the best thing. Because as you guys know, the spills don't get better as time goes by. It just gets worse by the minute. So getting it down right away, you're going to have the best results. But if you don't have it and you have to go back to the shop and get it, well, you got to run over to Sid Harvey and buy some or something like that. It's not a deal breaker. It's just, it's gonna be a little harder to clean up, but it'll still work 100%. I have spills that range from just happened right now to it happened 3 years ago. So it will remove old spills too. So if you have a stain in a parking lot, stain in someone's driveway, it'll remove oil stains. The powder, there's almost no downside. The liquid, the only downside to the liquid is after you put it down, you come back the next day and the oil stain will be gone. The oil odor should be fully gone. If it's not, sometimes it may require a second application. And so if it's gone and it's done, it leaves a little bit of a white chalky haze in the spot you're working on. If it's a basement, if it's cement, you don't really see it. But if it's on like a blacktop driveway, you're pretty much going to see it because obviously the driveway is black. This turns white. You're going to see that. You're going to see that. It looks like you took kids like white chalk and kind of rubbed it on the stain. Um, Good news is the oil spill's gone. The oil stain's gone. Bad news is now you have this white stain. The white stain will fully disappear on its own. There's nothing you can do to move it quicker. You can't power wash it. You can't do anything. It's just part. It becomes part of the surface, and you just have to wait for it to go away. Could take a week or two. I've seen it take a month or two. But the good news is every week the white will start fading away. So after a week or two, the homeowner won't even really notice it anymore because it starts to dull out and just disappear. If you tell the homeowner that beforehand, they never have a problem with it. The only time I run into trouble is if you go today, you do a spill. Let's say something happened on someone's driveway, you clean up their driveway, and they're not home or something, and then they come home at night and they see that white kind of stain in their driveway. They're going to be upset. Now you have to kind of backpedal and tell them like that. But if you tell them beforehand, they never have a problem with it. I never have anybody have a problem. They might have a problem with the oil spill, but they're not gonna have a problem if you say, hey, we have this great product. It's environmentally friendly. You can see I'm not wearing any gloves. There's no toxic quality to this product. And basically it'll solve the problem. It's going to remove the oil odor. Oil odor I find is usually the biggest thing, and then the second would be oil stain. It will remove both of those, and then the only negative is you might have to do a second application, and it's going to leave a little bit of a white chalky look in the area, which will fully disappear. So you tell people that 100% you won't have any problem with it. Any questions?
Does it matter the time of year? How cold it is?
Great. Yeah, that's probably like my number one question. No, it does not matter. It could be 120 degrees, can be 120 below. It's still going to work. The powder, there's no restrictions on storage. The liquid, because it is a liquid, it'll start to freeze at about 16 degrees. I have a pickup truck. I carry it in the back of my pickup truck. I go to Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire all the time. I almost never have a problem if it's that cold just for a night or two. But if it's going to be like below 16 for like a week or 2 weeks, I would probably bring the product inside because it could freeze. It's pretty rare that it does, but it could freeze. If it freezes, obviously you can't use it, but when it thaws, it'll be exactly the same as it was before it froze. So the only negative there is you might not be able to use it. So if you do want to have it ready to go and it's going to be cold consistently, I would probably bring it in just in case. The powder, again, no restrictions. Just to run through that too, again, remember the guys, I love saying this just over and over again because this is probably the number one question is when do I use both products? So powder only for pooling oil. That's it. The only time you use it, puddle pooling fuel. And then the liquid's going to be, you probably going to use the liquid more. This is for oil that is just on the ground or has soaked into the ground. Any other questions?
Homeowners asking about pets. Yeah, pets in the house. And you're using the product.
You know what? I can't hear you.
Homeowners will ask if they have pets in the house.
Okay.
So how would they go about that?
Okay, so again, you see, I'm not wearing any gloves or anything, right? I've been handling this product for about 22 years. There's no toxic quality to this product whatsoever. You don't need to wear a mask. It doesn't go airborne. If you have kids in the house and they ran through it, if you have a dog that licked it, it won't hurt them. Nothing. There's literally like this product. If you dump this all over your lawn, you wouldn't hurt one blade of grass. There's nothing you could do with this product that would hurt a person or property or vegetation or anything. You can, if you had a spill in the backyard and you use this, it works right away. So let's say you had an overfill or a leaky tank in a backyard. Soil spills are probably, this is what I'm getting into. Soil spills are probably my most common spill. Again, it's the same as this here, what I did here with the step one, step two. You're going to basically just inundate, soak the soil with the step one and step two, equal portions, and just keep putting the one and two on until the odor is completely gone. That's what's so cool about the product is it works so fast that the odor disappears immediately. So you just keep doing it until the odor's gone. As soon as that odor is completely gone, you're done. You don't have to do anything else. You can, and then I would say like wait 24 hours for it to dry, and then you can go the next day and throw grass seed down, and grass will start to grow within whenever the grass seed is going to grow. But I guess about a week or so. So to answer your question, no, it's and people can go on my website. It's on the bottles and actually read about it. We have everything there. We have the SDS sheets on there. We have all the science on there. Everything that we use is on there. So we're really forthcoming with the ingredients. And it's and they can call us too. Like if you guys need me, I'll talk to the homeowner with you. I'll talk to him for you. You count on me as like just a free free helping hand. Great question. Anything else?
Does it make a difference if we using a blacktop that's not seal coated?
So that's a big one. I'm glad you said that. So that's a big one. What happens with oil is as soon as if you have a brand new shiny driveway, black shiny, maybe it was just done 2 days ago, and then you spill, you got a little circle of oil that spills out on that driveway. That oil is going to eat that nice coat. So, because some people will call, this only happened a few times, but some people called me and said, "Hey, your product doesn't work on blacktop; it eats the sealer or whatever." And I was like, no, it's the oil that hurt the blacktop. This is just going to remove it. So this now you have that same situation with a nice, beautiful driveway. You put the step one, step two on. You come back the next day, the stain's either lighter or it's gone. Again, remember, sometimes it takes a second application. If you come back the next day and the oil's gone, which normally that'll be the case, that spot might be a little duller than the surrounding area. So when you have an oil spill, it's kind of like if I got hit in the face, right? My face is going to heal, but I'm going to have a scar. So that's kind of what oil does to mostly blacktop. I would say cement and soil, you don't have it. There's really nothing negative about the oil hitting those things. But the blacktop, yeah, it kind of dulls it a little bit. So you may have to resurface. Again, this goes back to the faster you get the product down, the better success you're going to have with it. To me, an oil spill is like having a bad tooth. Every day it gets worse. So the quicker you get it down, the faster you're going to solve your problem. And but you may have some scarring, is my point there. You may have a little bit of scarring, so it might not return to exactly the way it was when it was gone. The oil will be gone, the odor will be gone. There'll be no sheen, no residue, nothing. But the spot might be slightly duller. So good question. Anything else? Can somebody repeat that? I can't hear him.
Does the product expire?
Okay, good. Expiration date. So the powder, there's almost no expiration date, and you don't even have to keep it closed or anything. So let's say you stored it and you had a pallet of it or something, you had it in your warehouse. Whether the warehouse was wet or dry, you could just leave it open. You don't have to do anything to help store it. The liquid, I have the original bottles that we made, the first bottles. They're about going on 22 years old, and we break it out every year just to see if it'll still work. If I sold you guys the 22-year-old stuff, you wouldn't know if it was the 22-year-old stuff or the stuff that I just made today. So really, there's no expiration now. That's a good one. A lot of people ask too, can use it like on the sides of an oil tank, things like that. Yes. A very cool, good application is they make. You can buy them on Amazon. They're pretty cheap, or I could buy them for you. Powered sprayers. It's instead of having like a pump sprayer from like a garden sprayer. I don't really like those because you pump it and then it wears out and it doesn't really come out good. The powered sprayers have an internal battery and they last a long time. Like I use them all the time. I charge it like once a month, and I have two of them, one for step one, one for step two. It has a shoulder strap where I put the step one on here, step two over here, and then the two wands, and you go spray. That works fantastic on vertical situations. Let's say you're doing a tank, behind a tank, a wall, and then you spray it at the same time. And remember, as you do it, as soon as they hit each other, it turns to that gel. So you can see it solidifies almost immediately. So if you spray them and you're doing a wall, best application is spray them at the same time. Spray them, hit each other. As soon as they hit each other, it'll solidify, turn to a white gel, and this way it won't run. Some guys they do the one and then the two after, and then the one, if you're doing a wall, will just fall and hit the ground, and it's almost like you're wasting it, really. So do it at the same time. Spray the whole wall down or the sides of the tank, back of the tank, and again, you leave it just leave it. You don't clean up the liquid. The powder you clean up after about 5 or 10 minutes. The liquid, you don't clean it up. Next day, it's like a powdery sand, and you can vacuum it or sweep it up the next day. Another good question. Anything else? If you guys have any types of spills in mind that you're dealing with or have dealt with, feel free to mention it, and I'll tell you exactly how to clean it.
Let's say you have a spill that some of it's pooled up and some of it is just stained the ground or cement basement floor. How would you attack that?
Great, good. I'm glad you asked that too, because I want to keep reiterating when to use the powder, when to use the liquid. So for that, the question is, you're in a basement. There's some areas where there's pooling, and some areas where it's just kind of soaking into the floor. So I would use the powder on the pooling area. Again, I'd wait a couple of minutes, sweep that away. That's done, finished. You're gonna have that rubber stuff. And then I would come through and clean the whole area with the step one, step two, equal portions. Big question I always get. This happens. So people always like, how do I put it on? What do you put it on with? And I just use a regular deck broom or a brush. This is obviously a vinyl brush. And all this is to make sure that the step one, step two hit each other and go where I want it to go. Because if I just pour the one on and pour the two on, they probably didn't connect perfectly. So having a good deck broom or brush is key to just the application. And what I like to do, especially if it's on a driveway or really anywhere, I try to do circular motions to keep it neat. Because again, if you guys remember, it leaves that white haze afterwards. So the neater you make the spill, the better it's going to look the next day after you come back. I see some guys that are real sloppy with it, and they're kind of just spraying it out, pouring it on. And it's not really rubbing it in. And then when you come back the next day, it looks bad because that white chalkiness left behind now, it looks like that on their driveway. So the neater you make the step one, step two look, the better it's going to look the next day. And it's going to be an easier cleanup. Good question. Yeah, if anybody has any other questions about spills, different types of spills.
So, at no given time you use the liquid and the powder at the same time?
No, so the powder, again, the powder is very specifically for pooling oil only. So this is going to be your first responder, your beginning product. This is the one you're gonna, this would replace like your oil pads and kitty litter. You know, this is going to replace that part of the job. And it work, and you throw that down again, leave it for about 5 or 10 minutes, sweep it up or scrape it up, discard it, and now you probably cleaned up like about 95% of the oil. So you're almost there. You're heading in the right direction. Then you're always going to use the liquid afterwards because oil, as you guys know, no matter what surface it hits, it just wicks into that surface. So whether it's just on a floor, a driveway, a wood stud, you know, a metal tank, it kind of, you know, the oil has a really strong way of like soaking into those areas. So when you use the powder, you're pretty, I would say 99.9, you're always going to follow up with using the liquid afterwards. So having both products is great. You really don't need anything else if you have these two products. You don't need odor powder or odor powder or oil pads, or really that stuff is kind of useless. Really, good question. I'm trying to think of more spills that I do with you guys. Also, here's a trick. I don't like saying this in the beginning because sometimes people use it for everything. But the step one by itself is fantastic if you just have an oil rainbow sheen. So let's say you had an oil truck at a terminal and it's raining out, and get a couple of drips behind the truck, and then it fans out and it looks like you spilled 5 gallons, but really it's just, you know, probably a couple of ounces that dripped. You take the step one, put it in a sprayer, spray the sheen down, and it's gone forever. It will never come back, and it will disappear instantly. And it doesn't do what Dawn soap does. Dawn soap, all it does is it attaches itself to the oil, drops it under the water, and then it's still there. Now you have the Dawn soap and the oil. So Dawn soap does not clean up oil, just for the record. This, once it hits it, it's gone forever. You never be able to find it again. And if anybody says like, what, because people, it works so good, people usually like, what is this? I have to know what this is. So what it is it's an encapsulation product. So when it's only attracted to oil, and when it hits oil, it basically wraps itself around the oil, dehydrates and crushes it, and turns it into that dry sand, and you can never find it again. So if anybody really is curious, you just say it's an encapsulation product, and the final product is a dry sand. And for the powder, it's a dry rubber. Also, here's a cool thing too. If you guys, I get you do if you guys, anybody does fires or goes camping, you know, outdoor fire pits or indoor fire pits. Yeah, I have people call me and ask me for this stuff. So I have guys who call me when I'm on the road, and they're like, "Hey man, do you have any of that stuff on you?" Because I'm going camping. Once you use this makes amazing kindle for a fire. So this little ball here will burn. It's really, it's very cool. I use it all the time. This will burn for like 10 or 15 minutes, and it fully vaporizes. So after it's done, there's no ash, there's no oil, there's really nothing. So if you ever use it, it's great to keep. And I keep it in a bucket, in my truck, my garage, and excellent. It's the best Kindle you'll ever have. So little side note.
After we use it on fireplace, does it keep any smell?
Say that one more time.
If we use that on a fireplace, the little candle
Oh,
you
okay.
have, basically,
No,
it makes it smell like toxic smell, basically.
it's not. It burns. It burns at like 30,000 BTUs, and it'll just, the whole thing will just incinerate. I mean, if you put your nose right over it into the vapor that's coming up, you might smell the fuel oil a little bit, but it should just go right out the flue, and you won't smell it. Like I said, I've been using it for decades, inside and outside, and it's fantastic.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Does it work on carpet and wood?
Yeah, so it works on any oil on any surface. So kind of think about that. Any oil, any surface. The trick is when ever somebody tells me I have it on a wood stud or through sheetrock or on carpet, I'm like, did you spill oil on the carpet? Like, and I get two answers. Sometimes, yeah, it's a lot, you know, a couple of gallons, maybe 5 gallons, 10 gallons, whatever it is. I'm like, listen, you just get rid of the carpet, because now, yes, this will work, but you can't get to it all because the oil soaked through the carpet, through the padding, into the floor. So that's a barrier now for this product. Like, how does this product now get to those areas? So if it's a situation with tiles or sheetrock, it's usually faster and better just to discard those things and then treat the subfloor under it, and then you'll have total success. So now you got rid of the carpet because it's probably ruined anyway, and now you treated the floor, which takes the odor out right away, and you're done. And now you can rebuild and move on. That's a good question. Thank you. So yeah, any surface, any oil. Just the trick is, can you get to it all? I'd say tiles are the biggest one I run into. I'll see like asbestos tiles or those stick-on tiles in the basement. The oil probably got under those tiles. So I'll have some. I'll say two things. So I'll say, listen, if it did it just happen, and like, yeah, I'm at the site now. It's happened right now. It happened like in the last hour or two. I'm like, all right, put the is there any pooling oil? And they'll say no. It's pretty much just on the floor and soaked into the floor. I'll say, okay, saturate it with step one, step two, and let's see how we do. I would say 50% of the time we're done. After 5 minutes, we're done. We got it all. Other 50% of the time is the next day they'll say, yeah, there's a lingering smell in the house. I still smell some oil. I'll say, listen, those tiles, the oil probably crept underneath the tile. You gotta get rid of the tiles because the oil's trapped under there and the product can't get to it. So that's a big takeaway to be able to understand. Did I get to the oil? Did I fully get to the source of it? Did I get all of it? And it's usually pretty easy to tell because obviously, just by looking at it, you're gonna say, okay, there's a sheetrock, so it went under the sheetrock. Got to get in there, and there's a wood stud there, so it went under the stud. So you have to get to the problem. And again, that's the first thing I keep repeating this is having the product ready to go is going to be you're going to have the best chance, the fastest chance to use it. If you have it in your van or your truck, your oil truck, whatever, and you have a spill and you put this right down, you could solve any oil spill within a couple of minutes. If it happened, most guys call me. It happened yesterday. It happened last week. It's still going to work, but it's going to be a little more difficult. We're probably going to have to do 2 applications. Probably going to have to remove some stuff. So it gets just a little harder the longer the oil sits there. But again, having this ready to go is going to be a lifesaver because calling an environmental company is nightmare. Once they show up, it's like, all right, it's thousands and thousands of dollars, and it goes on and on and on. It turns into a nightmare. And by the way, they don't even use anything really all that great. They just show up with the same thing you have. They show up with oil dry, oil pads, and maybe a couple extra guys. So this is going to be better than anything an environmental company can do for you. Any more questions?
You don't introduce speedy right to that afterwards, right?
Say that one more time.
You do not introduce speedy right to it afterwards, right?
100%. Yeah. So, oil dry, speedy dry, oil pads, to me is like showing up with a roll of paper towels. I mean, it's kind of like a joke. This is going to clean again, the powder is going to be for your pooling oil, which is going to get almost the whole spill. And then the liquid's going to be for the residue and odor or stain that's left behind, and you're done. And that's it. You're done. You could if I was with you guys and we had a 15-gallon spill in the basement, it should take no more than 30 minutes to clean that up complete. So if you still want to use oil dry, that's your choice. But I will tell you, if you give this a shot, you wouldn't want to use oil dry anymore. Any more questions? All right, cool. So I'm just going to end with this, guys. Again, the powder is going to replace your oil dry. It works very fast. It gets just about everything. And then the liquid's going to be like your finishing product, which finishes off the stain and the odor. Sometimes it takes a second application. The powder you clean up pretty much right away. The liquid, you do not clean it up. Don't clean it up, because if you clean it up, it's like putting soap on your hand, just putting your hand under the water, and you just washed all the soap down the drain. So let it do its thing. Also, telling the homeowner what you're doing is really important because, again, that white chalkiness that it leaves, people usually get bothered by that if you don't tell them. If you tell them beforehand, they never have a problem with it. They go, oh, okay, it's safe to use. I don't need any gloves. Your dog can run through it. You know, it's not going to hurt anybody. And we have to leave it, or else it's not going to properly work. If I clean it up right now, you're going to leave some of the odor, which is, we're trying to remove all of that for you right now. If we remove the product, we're still going to have the problem. So again, if you explain it to people, they're usually pretty easygoing. Also, again, my numbers on all the bottles. I've been dealing with your company now for a lot of years. They have all my contact information. If you need me if you need to call me and I'll walk you through any spill, or if you need me to talk to the property owner, I'll do that. I'll gladly do all that for you. So consider me just a free helping hand if you need any help with the product whatsoever. Okay. No more questions? Okay. Like I said, guys, I'm here for you. So even if you think of something later or something happens, my number is available. Eric is the guy who set all this up. He has all my contact info. So if you do need help, need anything, call me. I'll stay with you through the whole spill if you need me to.
Thank you, Kevin.
Okay, guys, have a great day and good luck. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.